Hey everyone, welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome. I am Emily. And today, what I really want to do is, I hope you have the time. I really want to read something to you that came to me at a time in my life when I so desperately needed it. Yet, what I find fascinating is that it came from a friend that I had not seen, spoken to, had any communication with in many months. And although she didn't know anything about what was going on in my life, I had just made the decision to permanently end my marriage. She didn't know, but somehow she knew. Do you know what I mean by that? Do you have those friends that you feel so connected to that you kind of just pick up where you left off? And for her, sending me this at the time that was so needed. I mean, it felt like it was telling my story. Was just mind-boggling to me. But I also believe that there's no such thing as a coincidence. I really don't think coincidences are a thing. I think everything happens for a reason at the right time. And so I urge you, if you have 10 minutes, go put on a pot of vodka, a coffee, whatever your favorite beverage is, because this really resonated with me. And I think that if you're following me now, it might also resonate with you. It took my breath away, quite literally, when I read it. And so much so that I think I even incorporated this into my book. So anyway, here we go. Enjoy. It's called The Awakening. Took me a long time to wake up. All right. There comes a time in your life when you finally get it. When in the midst of all your fears and sanity, you stop dead in your tracks, and somewhere a voice inside your head cries out, enough. Enough of the fighting and crying or struggling to hold on. And like a child quieting down after a blind temper tantrum, your sobs begin to subside. You shudder once or twice. You blink back your tears, and through a mantle of wet lashes, you finally begin to look at the world from a brand new perspective. This is your awakening. You realize that it's time to stop hoping and waiting for something or someone to change, or for happiness, safety, and security to come galloping over the next horizon. You come to terms with the fact that there aren't always fairy tale endings, or beginnings for that matter, and that any guarantee of a happily ever after must first begin with you. Then a sense of serenity is born out of acceptance. So you begin making your way through the reality of today rather than holding out for that promise of a better tomorrow. You realize that much of who you are and the way you navigate through life is, in great part, a result of the social conditioning you've received over the course of your lifetime. And you begin to shift through all the nonsense that you were once taught, how you should look and how much you should weigh, what you should wear, where you should shop, where you should live, what type of car you should be driving, who should sleep, who you should sleep with, and how you should behave, who you should marry, and why you should just stay. The importance of bearing children and what you owe to your family. Slowly you begin to open up to new worlds and different points of view, and you begin reassessing and redefining who you are and what you really believe in and what you stand for. And you begin to discard all those doctrines you have outgrown or never should have practiced to begin with. You accept the fact that you are not perfect and that not everyone is going to love you, appreciate you, or approve of you. Whew, and that's okay. They are not they are entitled to their own view and their own views and opinions. And you come to terms with the fact that you will never be a size 0 or that perfect 10 or a perfect human being for that matter. You stop trying to compete with the image inside your head or agonizing over how you compare to others. And you come and you take a long look at yourself in the mirror, and you make yourself a promise to give yourself the same unconditional love and support you give so freely to others, but never to yourself. Then a sense of confidence is born out of self-approval. And you stop maneuvering through life merely as a consumer, hungry for your next fix. Maybe it's a new dress, another pair of shoes. You look for approval and admiration from others, friends, family, even strangers. Then you discover that it is truly in giving that we actually receive, and that the joy and abundance you seek grows out of giving rather than receiving. And you recognize the importance of creating and contributing rather than always obtaining and accumulating. And you give thanks to the simplest things that you've been blessed with, things that millions of people upon the earth could only dream of. A full refrigerator, clean running water, a soft warm bed, freedom of choice, and the opportunity to actually be able to pursue your dreams. I was just in Madagascar last summer, one of the poorest countries in the world. This statement couldn't be truer. And you begin to love and to care for yourself. You stop engaging in self-destructive behavior, including participating in dysfunctional relationships. You begin eating a balanced diet, drinking more water, and exercising. And because you've learned that fatigue drains the spirit and creates doubt and fear, you give yourself permission to rest. And just as food is fuel for the body, laughter is fuel for the soul. And so you make it a point to create time to actually just play. Then you learn about love and relationships, how to love, how to receive love, how much to give in love, and when to stop giving and just walk away. And you allow only the hands of a lover who truly loves and respects you to glorify you with his touch. You learn that people don't always say what they mean or mean what they say, intentionally or unintentionally, and that not everyone will always come through. And interesting enough, it's not always about you. So you stop lashing out. You stop pointing the fingers. You stop blaming or looking to place the blame for the things that were done to you or weren't done for you. And you learn to keep your ego in check and to acknowledge and redirect the destructive emotions it spawns: anger, jealousy, and resentment. They will only eat you up, no one else. You learn to say, I was wrong, and to forgive people for their own human frailties. You learn to build bridges instead of walls, and about the healing power of love as it is expressed through a kind word, a warm smile, or a friendly gesture. And at the same time, you eliminate any relationships that are hurtful or fail to uplift you and edify you. You stop working so hard at smoothing things over and setting your own needs aside. You learn that feelings of entitlement are perfectly okay, and that it is your right to want to expect better and to want or expect certain things from certain people. And you learn the importance of communicating your needs with confidence and with grace. You learn that the only cross to bear is the one that you choose to carry. and that eventually martyrs are burned at the stake, then you learn to distinguish between guilt and responsibility and the importance of setting boundaries and learning to say no. You learn that you don't have all the answers and it's not your job to save the world, and that sometimes you just need to let go. Moreover, you learn to look at people as they really are, not as how you would like them to be. Guilty. And you are careful not to project your neediness or insecurities onto relationships. You learn that you will not be more beautiful or more intelligent, more lovable, or more important because of the man on your arm or the child that bears your name. You learn that just as people grow and change, so it is with love and relationships, and that not everyone can always love you the way that you want them to. So you stop appraising your worth by the measure of love you are given. And suddenly you realize that it's wrong to demand that someone live their life or sacrifice their dreams just to serve your needs, ease your insecurities, or meet your standards and expectations. You learn that the only love worth giving and receiving is the love that is given freely, without conditions or limitations. And you learn what it means to love, so you stop trying to control people, situations, and outcomes. You learn that alone does not mean lonely, and you begin to discover the joy of spending time with yourself, by yourself, and on yourself. Then you discover the greatest and most fulfilling love you will ever know: self-love. And it comes to pass that through this understanding, your heart will slowly begin to heal, and now all new things will be possible. Moving along, you begin to avoid toxic people and conversations, and you stop wasting time and energy rehashing your situation, your family with friends and family. You learn that talk doesn't always change things, and that unrequited, why don't I know that word? Unrequited wishes can only serve, I'm gonna have to look that up, can only serve to keep you trapped in the past. So you stop lamenting over what could have been, what should have been, and you make a decision to leave the past behind and only focus on the future. Then you begin to invest your time and energy to affect positive change. You take a personal inventory of your strengths and weaknesses and the areas you need to improve in order to move ahead. You set your goals and map out a plan of action in order to see things through. You learn that life isn't always fair, and you don't always get what you think you deserve, and you stop personalizing every loss, every disappointment. You learn to accept that sometimes bad things are going to happen to good people, and that these things are not an act of God, but merely a random act of fate. And you stop looking for guarantees, because you've learned that the only thing you can really count on is the unexpected. And whatever happens, you learn to deal with it. You learn to stand on your own 2 feet. You learn that the only thing you must truly fear is the truth. You learn that the only thing you must truly fear is the great robber baron of all time, is fear itself. So you learn to step right into and through your fears, because to give into fear is to give away the right to live life on your own terms. And that's so true, you guys. Sometimes when you're really fearful, you got to just step right into it, go right through it, and come out on the other side. You learn that much of life truly is self-fulfilling prophecy, and you learn to go after what you want and not to squander your life living under a cloud of indecision or feeling of impending doom. So basically, we all have the power to change our circumstance and to go after what we want, and not carry around that impending cloud of doom over our head, that only bad things are ever going to happen to us. We have the power to change it. Then you learn about money, the personal power and independence it brings and the options that it creates, and you recognize the necessity to create your own personal wealth. Slowly, you begin to take responsibility for yourself, by yourself, and you make yourself a promise to never, ever betray yourself again, and to never, ever settle for less than your heart's desire. And a sense of power is born out of self-reliance. And you live with honor and integrity because you know that these principles are not the outdated ideals of a bygone era, but the mortar that holds together the foundation upon which you must build your own life. And you begin and you make it a point to keep smiling, keep trusting, keep staying open to every wonderful opportunity and exciting possibility that may come your way. Then you hang a wind chime outside your window to remind yourself what beauty there is in simplicity. I did that right after my divorce. I hung a wind chime out my window. Finally, with courage in your heart and with God by your side, you take a stand. You take a deep breath, and you finally begin to design the life that you want to live as best as you possibly can. I feel like this told my story from beginning to end, literally. Everything I learned along the way, how I learned to stand on my own 2 feet, how I learned to not have expectations from others, but still how I learned to, like, you can't control other people, but still there are some people that, like, for example, your spouse, yeah, my expectation is that you are not going to lie to me, cheat on me, disrespect me. And so, I don't know, I just felt like this poem just encompassed and embodied everything I went through from the moment I decided to leave that marriage until where I am today. You know, taking accountability, taking responsibility, carving out your own path, letting go of relationships, any kind of relationship that just no longer serves you, that isn't good for you, letting go of toxic people, toxic conversations, and then, you know, have the awakening of wanting a better life, and that's okay, and creating a better life, and that's okay, and setting boundaries and learning to say no and learning to walk away without an explanation. I don't know, I just feel like this poem was such an aha moment for me that I really, I just wanted to share it with you guys. Anyway, whew, cheers. And that's it. I just wanted to read you the poem. Maybe just sit with it for a while. Sit with it, let it sink in, process some of it, and I hope that it helps you awaken as well. That's it, guys. Have a great Sunday. I'll see you back here real soon on Rebuilding a Kick-Ass Life.